For those of you in child's pose, take a few more breaths there before bringing yourself from tabletop into down dog. Those of you in downward dog, feel free, if you've been here for a little bit of time, to either cycle through a few vinyasas if you're feeling a little bit agitated or stiff. Otherwise, you're just walking out through your feet. You're pulsing that chest palate toward your thigh bones, and you're doing your best to ground down the heels. Though this is going to be a short add-on, we're going to be getting into some postures to get into a slow build of a full wheel. So hopefully your body is nice and warmed up. From downward dog, let's take the big toes together to touch, and then slowly start to reach the right leg up toward the ceiling, stacking the right hip on top of the left, squaring off the shoulders, and then squeeze that glute to reach the straight right leg up to the ceiling, pointing through the toe, nice and active set as the heel of the left takes its time and really works its way down to the mat. Take about 2 more breaths here before stepping that right foot between the palms, coming into a deep runner's lunge. You're going to slowly bring your head upright for a couple of breaths before gently bringing yourself up into a deep runner's lunge. Okay, so palms to the thigh or to the hip. You're going to really work on arcing the back here and then taking the eyes to look up toward the ceiling. If it's there, you can reach the right arm back, so it's coming into a slight twist through your spine. If that's too much in any way, you could hold this position. Don't worry about reaching the arms up, and just focus on, again, finding a mini back bend here. Slight engagement in through Mula Bandha, so that pelvic floor engagement. Take about 2 more breaths before planting the palms tabletop and bring yourself up onto your knees. Keep your toes tucked under. Inhale, lifting up through the chest and reaching the right arm back for the heel. Reaching the left arm up, and then exhale that left arm toward the wall behind you. Bring that left arm back up toward the ceiling, and then again, reach that arm back behind you. So take about 3 more of these arm movements. Every time that arm reaches back, you want to feel a deeper opening and a stretch through the left side lateral plane. The last one, take 3 breaths and try to take the head to look back as if you're resting the nape of the neck at the top of the right shoulder. Left arm back to neutral. Bring yourself from tabletop into that down dog stretch. Lifting up through the heels, pulsing the upper body toward your thighs, walking out your feet, shake out the head. Continue to press the mat firmly away from you. Inhale the heels nice and high, and then ground down your heels, hollow out the belly naturally, and reaching the chest palate toward your thigh bones. Start to walk the big toes together to touch, and then inhale your left leg high. Straight left leg reaches up toward the ceiling. Right heel, with time and gravity, with the support of the weight to the body, is working on touching the mat. Square your shoulders off as best as you can. Continue to squeeze that left glute. Your eyes are looking past your inner thighs for a couple more breaths. And then coming into that deep runner's lunge, stepping the foot forward, holding for about a breath or 2 before bringing your body up. So you're coming into your deep runner's lunge, but the palms are just resting on your thighs. If you did before, maybe that left arm can reach back. So you're getting into just a gentle twist, or once again, you could stay upright. For those that are twisting, perhaps the fingertips can reach for that right side calf. And if it's not there, don't worry about it. Work on lengthening through the chest, lifting through the palate, and then arcing back. Engagement through your lower belly in Mula Bandha, so that pelvic floor squeeze, the Kegel lock. Take about 2 more breaths before dropping down into tabletop. Coming upright onto the knees And we're switching sides. Toes are tucked under. Taking your palms to your lower back. Take the eyes to the ceiling. Inhale, look up, lift, and then lean back. Maybe that left arm can reach down to the heel as the right arm reaches up toward the ceiling. Inhale, really find length. And then exhale, try to reach that right arm back. Coming back into that arm movement where the right arm reaches straight forward and then that arm reaches toward the back wall. Okay, taking a few more of these moving breaths. Really feel the skin, the fascial plane, the muscle line stretch. Really linking your breath to these movements. And that last one, you're coming into a hold and then perhaps dropping the head back. You're here for about 3 breaths. Keep pressing the hips forward. Reaching that arm forward as you bring yourself upright. Tabletop into a quick down dog stretch. And what we're going to do here is you're going to drop down onto the knees. You're going to sit on the left glute, and then you're just going to twist around and lie on your back. So coming into your first setup, we're doing a total of 3. First setup of baby bridge. So while you're here, shoulders are down, scapula is on the back, so the chest becomes open and broad, getting into that external rotation so the chest stays open. It's not constricted in any way. Okay, fingertips are facing down toward the heels, feet are at hips width. Start by finding a gentle pelvic rock. So every time you inhale, naturally the lower belly will obviously rise, but your lower back will lift off of the mat. On your exhale, as you push the air out from the pit of the stomach, slightly tilt the tailbone so then the lower back touches the mat. Inhale to arc through the spine. Exhale, bring that lower back toward the mat. Inhale, the pelvic tilt. Exhale, push the air out. Okay, continue with a few more of these lower body rocks, really connecting your movement with your breath. Good. So we're creating a little bit of flexibility through that lumbar spine. It's common for a lot of us not to have too much flexibility in that region of the body. So really doing this helps to warm up the areas, the discs in this part of the spine. Good. On your next exhale, start to root down into the heels. And as you inhale, lifting the hips up. First set. Okay, we're doing a slow build. Stay reaching with the fingertips to the heels. Now really use the forearms and palms to ground the upper body down. So that means the palms, the forearms, the back triceps, the tops of your shoulders, and the area of the upper back. And then use the palms and the arms to lift and lengthen the front plane of your body. Keeping those knees at hips width, slight squeeze to your glutes. Taking about 3 more breaths. Vertebrae by vertebrae, start to lower the hips down to touch. Dead bug pose. About 20 seconds to reset through the lower back before we come into second set. So breathing into the areas of the body that feel a little bit tighter. And as you notice, when we start to come into the second to third set, because of that constriction at the back of the throat, you're naturally going to come in your Ujjayi breath. So that's that oceanic-like sound coming out of the nose. That helps to aid the body in detoxification. And it's a really great breathing technique to change the energy centers of the body, the Ida to the Pingala, so the areas of the nostrils, to be able to find that full reset from that region as well. Second set, okay, let's plant the feet down, feet are at hips width, reach the fingers to the heels, tuck the tailbone, and then slowly start to reach the hips up. Okay, naturally you're gonna find your Ujjayi breath. Maybe the fingers can interlace behind the back. And if it's there, walk the shoulders and palms closer together. So it's kind of like you're propping your chest up. Chin naturally drives closer toward the chest. Keep fanning the ribs up and out. Keep squeezing the buttocks. Keep the knees at hips width. And then lift up the hips a little bit more. Taking just a few more breaths here. When you're ready, unbind through the fingertips, vertebrae by vertebrae, lower down to touch, dead bug pose. You could always hug the knees into the chest as well, or you could come into a happy baby. Just a few breaths here, maybe circle out through the ankles and the wrists if it feels good. Switch the direction of your circles. Okay, getting ready for that final third set of full wheel. Now, if it's not there for you today, it's okay. You could just come into option 1 or 2. Okay, really treat your body with respect wherever it is and whatever it can perform on the mat. Let's bend the knees, plant the feet. This time, plant the palms behind your shoulders so the fingertips are facing the direction as your toes. Start to come into that same setup where you're squeezing the buttocks, you're lifting the weight of the hips up, engaging through your core, and shifting the weight toward your shoulders. You could stay here. Or the next part is planting your palms down, shifting your body weight, and then taking the crown of the head to the mat. But try not to put too much pressure on this area of the body. So really keep it in the palms so you're firing up through the triceps. Only if it's there, start to press into those palms, getting that full body lift. And if you haven't done a back bend in a long time, the nausea and the discomfort is normal. So really listen to what your body needs if you need to drop down at any point in time. Continue to lift up from the area of your belly button. You're here for just a few more breaths. Keep those knees at hips width. Keep pressing the chest palate forward and up. When you're ready to come out, chin to the chest, lower down through the shoulders, and then vertebrae by vertebrae, allow those hips to come down, touch. Check in if you're breathing. Dead bug pose. Coming back for a few breaths. Now feel free before your next add-on video, if you want to do a 4th round of full wheel, or maybe take some kind of a counter stretch during this time. You're either going to bring yourself into that child's pose or down dog before your next add-on.